Hello, thank you, Bart, for being with me today. How are you?
Hey, Alex. I'm good. I'm a bit sleepy. I had a short night.
Yeah?
Getting ready for my talk this morning, so had to
Okay.
do a couple of practice rounds, but really enjoying it so far.
Yeah, we are at the No Code Week 2026 here in Frankfurt, and NA10 is again a partner, which we're very happy. So thank you for that, first of all. And so you gave a talk, which was super interesting about the community. We'll come back to that. Can you introduce yourself just in a few words?
Yes, of course. So I'm Bart Veldhuizen. I'm community lead at NA10. Been with the company for 2.5 years. I've been an NA10 user for 5 years. So I started in the community and then I became part of the team, which is a very interesting transition to suddenly see things from the other side. I run a community team of 5 people. 6 by now. Mostly
soon
in Europe.
7, you said.
Soon 7 too, yes. So we're growing a lot. The community is growing a lot too. So we need that kind of help. We see ourselves as culture builders. That is our main objective.
Yeah. Super interesting. You've been doing like community building for a while, previous experience. Just quick question. Do you think like how to say that, Najin? The community building has became a thing over time. Now it's almost like a brand needs to have a community. Yeah. It's almost like an asset. How did this has evolved over time? Like since you started, were like 20 years ago people talking about community, or was it just like natural to do it?
I think no. So I've seen kind of like a wave almost. Like when I started out in the early 2000s with Blender. Blender was an open source product at some point, or we made it open source. I helped with that process, and it was very natural for us to have like a lot of communication with our users. They were people like us. We came from the community as well, and so we didn't have any commercial goals with that community. So it was more like a passion thing. Yeah. And of course we did it that way. And then later on, I did a lot of community consulting work as well. And there was definitely a time where lots of companies, they heard this hype about communities and they were like, oh, we want to have a community too. And they had the idea that all you had to do is open a forum and then it would run itself. And then you would have to educate them and say, well, no, actually, you need to like put in a lot of effort and you need to like maintain the conversations and build the trust, etc. That phase is gone. People like companies understand that. Like, a community is a real thing. You need to have people and resources invested. And now usually communities are more strategic. So like you have a support community or you have like a brand awareness community or advocacy kind of thing. So yeah, there's definitely been a lot of evolvement there. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. We'll come back to the community, but I just wanted to talk quickly about NA10, the tool itself, the product, and what's been happening. So, what are, since the beginning of the year, maybe some of the updates you wanted to share, like how the tool has evolved recently?
Of course, yeah. It's I think we were just chatting about this a bit earlier as well. People may have noticed that our development may have seemed to slow down a little since the start of this year, and the reason for that is that we have reallocated a lot of engineering to a couple of AI-related projects. Like obviously, with the rise of Claude Code and other like great coding tools, we're part of that ecosystem, and so we want to make sure that NA10 plays a relevant role in there and that it connects well with all these different platforms. So step 1 was improving our MCP. We had an MCP server, but it was very limited. It didn't allow for like updating workflows, for example. And so at some point, there was a community MCP project rising up, which became quite good. And obviously, we had to do it ourselves as well. So we took our time to talk to Romuald, the creator, to make sure that we don't love building something that someone in the community is already successfully doing. But at the same time, we also have our own roadmap to work with. But we wanted to do this in a respectful way. So, we spent quite a bit of time talking to him about it. So that was the first big release. And right now, we are focusing on a number of AI improvements. So N8N has had the AI-powered workflow builder for quite a while, which frankly is not great. It builds workflows, but it's not able to like diagnose issues or make updates. And so we are doing a revamp there that's going to bring it to the same level of quality as Claude Code, basically.
Okay.
And you can like develop iteratively with it as well. So that's a big one, and that's like more difficult than you think. Like it's difficult to make it work well, and it's also difficult to make it work like cost effectively because it's very easy to burn a lot of tokens.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's a super interesting topic. I've had recent feedbacks on experts in the community who've been using the MCP server from N8N. And so basically what's happening, I feel like they don't go to N8N anymore, really. They just go to Claude. They ask Claude to build the scenarios for N8N, and it seems to be working very well, which I guess is great news for N8N in a way. But I was wondering, how do you feel that? Because like for me, well, first I do training, so I'm a bit worried people stop learning how to build scenarios for themselves. That's one issue, but you will tell me what you think about that. But then the other thing is, I feel like I would prefer people to come in N8N to build their scenarios with AI, which, as you say, is not as good yet. But so what's the stance a bit from the company on that?
I feel you. Like on a personal level, I love coding. I love building workflows. Yeah. And so I feel like we're losing some of the craft here by letting AI do it. I have a son, he loves programming and he has such a passion for figuring stuff out. And, so that's something that I feel about. But on our side, I would say, part of our user base works the way you're describing, like AI generated MCP. It works well for them. Part of our user base doesn't because they want to be like more in control. Whoever they are, it's always great to have a visual representation of the output. So especially companies and enterprises care a lot about validating the workflow that's being generated, and they cannot take risks. They're like that. But yeah, I think we just have to acknowledge too that the paradigm for creation is shifting.
I guess in a way, building a scenario is just one part of the product of the N8N product, because the other part, and maybe it's the main one, and it's not obvious, but it's the platform itself is running the scenarios, all the observability tools that you have, the debugging, and all this. So I guess maybe it's okay that one part, the building part, maybe is outside of the product if the rest is inherently in the product.
And like with the what we call instance AI, like the successor to the AI-powered workflow builder, we will keep people more inside the platform too. And that's going to make a couple of operations easier, like, selecting credentials and creating credentials and things like that. That is kind of like clunky if you do it through Claude Code right now. So we do think we can offer a better experience in that way.
I guess that's the challenge for you, right? It's like you need, at least this way with Claude and the MCP and the skills, you have a bit of a competitor. So it kind of drives you. So it means you have to make an AI builder that is even better.
Yes, yeah. So this is more about the user experience, then, right?
And have a better user experience, and interesting.
And you were asking about product updates. And so we have the new text to workflow tool. We have already released a beta of the CLI that allows you to like set up workflows and instances from the command line. We are working on a and I keep forgetting the exact name, but like a local control tool that allows N8N to control your desktop. So like Claude can already control browser tabs. You can also access your file system, etc. So this is like almost our answer to OpenClaw in a way, but in an observable way. So this way you can actually see what's happening with your data.
Which is important. To be honest, I'm a bit frustrated with all the hype around OpenClaw and Hermes and all those agents, because people seem to be replacing automation. I would say traditional automation. That's what I would call N8N or Make or all the tools we've been using for a while.
It's already low-code is already traditional.
I just don't know how to use it. But so this seems to be the new way, and it's such an inefficient way of doing automation. Like OpenClaw, first, like you have no observability and all the security issues, and you use AI anytime. Like you launch the automation, literally, and this doesn't make sense. So I don't know.
I get that people are experimenting with that, and they're going for this almost AGI model that can do anything for you. But then we find that there are limits to what is like safe or sane or cheap, right? So it's interesting in itself. But I was recently at a meetup in Cairo actually, and there was a 14-year-old kid, and he asked a question, and I loved it. He said, like, what is the difference? Like, when would you use OpenClaw and when would you use N8N? And I asked him, like, would you give your bank account to OpenClaw? And he said, no way.
No.
And then I said, would you give your bank account details to N8N and let it do operations for you? And he said, well, I would feel a lot safer about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's your answer, right? So
definitely.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. I think, like, for me, like, if you like, it's also like, so there's the running part, but there's also like building. Like, people use, I think, OpenClaw and Hermes just because they're lazy to build themselves scenarios. And there is this kind of idea that you can just talk to OpenClaw and hope that, it's going to automate whatever you want. This kind of forgets about all the connections and all the these issues. But I feel like at least to have an AI building, as you were mentioning, will help also solve that in a way.
Right. Yeah.
And
I do think that these tools, they unlock two things, right? They provide access to programming environments to people who were previously not able to use these things. So now you can become a product manager instead of an engineer and build out a tool. And for people with a bit more experience, it unlocks way more complicated workflows.
That's true.
And I think that is also a very interesting thing. And I'm playing with this myself. And just a few weeks ago, I thought, can I make a self-learning Gmail assistant? So I vibe coded an N8N workflow basically that observes my emails, suggests actions, and then watches the actual output. So it knows the before and after states and trains itself on the difference.
Okay.
And it's working remarkably well, but that's not something that I would have been able to build in one weekend, basically.
Yeah, it's true. No, there is, of course, with all those news, all those new ways of building things, allows people to do more in different ways.
But I will say that at least right now, you still benefit if you have technical knowledge or if you have a stronger engineering background, because you know better which kind of questions to ask or how to ensure the right output.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's important. I think it will stay that way for a while, at least in professional usage of, if you have to build automations for a client or in a context of professional, I think, it's normal that, you need a background or to learn things. You can learn all those things. I mean,
but to give you an example, one of my colleagues, he was talking to someone at another event, and they had tried to automate their mailbox. And basically the prompt they gave the AI is automate my mailbox. And then they were disappointed that it didn't work because there is no specification there what to do, right?
Can imagine. Yeah. It's hard for people to understand. What does it mean to connect to a mailbox?
Yeah.
Which protocol do you use? Is it OAuth? Is it the MSMTP or POP?
It's even it said, it was automate my mailbox. And that's what is it? What does that even mean, right?
For me, there is two problems in that. There is the product management kind of way, you don't explain what you actually want to build. And also there is the technical, you don't know. But the technical, normally we're at the point where the agents also, they know a lot, so they can drive
will ask questions.
They will ask, they will make suggestions, but on the product they cannot invent, so it makes sense. I understand. Okay, can you tell us a bit about what's coming to N8N?
These features that I was mentioning about, these are in development right now. We've already been testing the new AI workflow builder on a small percentage of users on cloud, and we are going to be releasing it to a larger percentage soon. And this also has to do a lot, as I mentioned, with quality control and price, etc., to make sure that we have a sane balance between
there's
quality.
A question I need to ask you, and if you want we can cut it, but I'm just curious. So I was lucky because I think you run an A/B testing on the price, the how to say, the pricing at some point. Maybe
sometimes we do,
And I was lucky to now I have €8 per month bill. That I paid for 1 year, and I'm very happy with it. And a lot of people are jealous in France. They ask. They don't ask me actually. They ask Claire. But every time, is it the pricing going to change?
Were you in France when you started that account, or were you in another country?
Yeah, I was. I already had an account actually, and I really I didn't do anything. I just wanted to go to pay because I was on a free. Well, I had like an old, or I don't know. It's like just went, and I was lucky. And at that moment, I thought it was a new pricing. I was like, so great. I think I even said in one of my podcasts,
that's interesting. Cool. I don't think we did any price experiments in Europe, but definitely outside of Europe. So I don't know if maybe you VPN'd into another country or something like that.
Don't think so.
Or maybe our A/B testing isn't as robust as we think.
No, because I don't know. I don't want to put anyone in the spot, but I was told it wasn't A/B testing, and it was.
It definitely was. Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't supposed to be in Europe. Okay, that's funny. But okay, so on the pricing, is there anything you can share, or no?
No, I'm not aware of any plans in that direction. We did recently add a free tier as well, and I think we're still A/B testing that as well. So if you're in the Netherlands, I think you can already access it, and in Argentina.
Okay. So what would be in that free tier?
I think the free tier is like 50 executions a month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you should remember that, in n8n, an execution is like a full loop.
Yeah, doesn't count the steps.
Yeah. And local execution. So if you're in the canvas and you run test execution, don't count towards that total. It's only like fully automated.
Yeah.
So anything that's triggered, anything that's run by a scheduler, those are counted towards
it. It's not too bad. To discover and you can use all the modules and everything.
Yes. Yeah.
So
it's not limited anyway.
Nice.
It's just the basic cloud starter.
Okay, cool.
But with a free number of runs. Yeah.
Yeah, that is nice. It's convenient, I would say.
That's also something that we believe, people need to experience the usefulness beyond like starting it manually, but having the magic of having something happen in the morning automatically. You need to feel that, right?
No, definitely. And without also going to self-host or do something like this, which I think I understand why people do that. I remember we talked about it last year, but I think it's not good. People with the proper qualifications should do that, I think.
Yes. But also, and self-hosting is not going anywhere, right? So that we're keeping that. But you need to have technical skills to do it. But now with the shift towards more AI generated workflows, the skill threshold is dropping. And so we have to be aware that we enable this new user type as well.
Yeah, definitely. But it's good. Anything that goes to democratizing access to technology, I think is good, and it's the whole point of the no-code movement.
Yeah.
And so, talking about that, I wanted to chat a little bit about the community, because one of the things I really like, I have to say, about n8n is how close you are to the builders, the community. As opposed to, I'm not going to compare with any brands, but there was a point in the no-code movement where a lot of companies kind of turned to enterprise.
Yeah.
And one of my, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like n8n always had enterprise clients. Never really always,
at some point we started doing it
because there was this whole it's open source. I can imagine for IT departments there were an interest already for some time. Or maybe it's the way I see it and I'm wrong, and there was never I'm sure there are efforts to sell to enterprise, but we don't see it, And so as builders, we feel like, we are understood. We are, and this is what your community is about, really sharing. And you mentioned a lot of examples this morning that are quite fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is a couple of things. Like, we didn't always have an enterprise motion, but we had it for a few years now, and it's a big part of our business.
Yeah.
What makes n8n attractive to lots of companies is the ability to self-host and own your data and all these like the sovereignty, which is a very hot topic in Europe right now, obviously.
Yeah, these days, but it should have been for a while.
So we're well positioned for that.
Definitely.
My team focuses mostly on what we call product-led growth, so self-hosted and the cloud products. And we're working with that side of the community. However, we know that there is no hard line between enterprise community and, let's say, individual or smaller businesses.
And I don't want to exclude enterprise people and stuff like
that.
Not
at all. No.
But I also know it's a different sales pitch. I would say, it's a different vibe. Could be.
Yeah, well, you might be surprised there. So basically what we know is, we have a lot of our enterprise users come from the regular community, like people, engineers, they start working with N8N at home and they like the products. And at some point at work, they say, hey, this is something we could look into. And then they start having a conversation with our sales team. And yes, that's a different kind of conversation.
Yeah.
However, our sales team is very community minded as well. It's like our entire company is community minded. Right. So every sales agent has very clear instructions, and they also understand this, that we never want to sell someone something that someone doesn't need. So if they talk to an enterprise user and they figure out like, actually community edition is good enough for what they need, they will tell them, right?
Yeah.
And so we don't have that pressure to force them a tool that they don't need and make them unhappy a year later.
But see, that's exactly the point. Like this, I feel like some software companies, unfortunately, force themselves onto certain type of clients, forgetting the other ones sometimes, and I think that's important. Like this makes a big difference, in terms of the vibe that you're.
And I think in addition to that, we also know, if you look at our YouTube channel, our content isn't like standard corporate boring stuff.
It's amazing.
Like, we try to keep it like entertaining and fun. Yeah. And at some point there were discussions internally about like, is this the right way to approach an enterprise market? And then we talked to enterprise users and they said, well, if I watch YouTube at night, I want to watch something fun and entertaining, not something boring. So that content works very well for them. We're also working more and more with enterprises on what we call internal communities. So they have, large companies often have internal N8N user groups or champions. Yeah. And we're looking to support them, like build out these programs with like scenarios and activities and swag we can give them. So if there's any of these enterprise champions listening right now, they should have a chat with us, because we'd be really interested to hear like how we can help them. Yeah,
that's super interesting. Would you say, as you said, like this is like the community is like almost like a core value of N8N or something? Is it, if you come back to Blender also, isn't maybe also something that's very important when you're an open source project? Sorry. Sorry.
Cheers.
You see what I mean? Like open source by default has to be community, because you have contributors, you have to.
Yes, on the development side, true. I also found it works the other way around. Like if you have a commercial product and it has a very high price tag, it's an expensive product, then users are less likely to help each other because they're basically competitors, right?
That's true. Interesting.
In open source, people feel like, I'm already getting so much. And just for the record, we're not open source, but we're source available. So there's like tiny difference.
Yeah, no, but it's good that you say it, because I sometimes like also like to make the difference. So it's nice, it's fair.
But in any case, like we give the software away for free. You get the source code. There's very few restrictions on what you can do with it, except basically rebuild N8N Cloud. That's how we like to make money. And so if you give away so much to users, they have this innate drive to give something back as well. Like you feel like, I get all this stuff, I want to do something in return. Some people can code, some people can answer questions on the forum, some people can become an ambassador and start building local communities. And I am really convinced that there is like a social dynamic here that makes it much more likely that open source communities grow healthy communities than like highly commercial products.
Yeah, definitely. Just like one last topic. So you had like, I think it would be last year, like an exponential growth. I feel like N8N was really like on the spot. And I remember when we met in Milano, you were saying like you're a bit overrun with questions on the forums, and you were organizing all the answering, and I feel like maybe it's slowed down a little bit. Which I would say is probably good, but that's my perspective from the outside. What's from the inside? What's the?
No, you're right about that. Like the insane growth we had last year, that has definitely flattened out a bit.
Wasn't it too much? If I may, I feel like, to be honest, like that it was a bit undeserved. Not I love N8N, of course, but there was a thing like people, like maybe it attracted the wrong people.
That is
like tourists, or I don't know how to say, like people who say, like they saw on LinkedIn that N8N was amazing. They came, and N8N is a tool. It's powerful, but it's also like you need to learn how to use it.
Yeah. It's with rapid growth, you always have some like undesirable side effects. And one of the things we did see is a lot of activity in some communities, especially on Reddit, where N8N was positioned as a get rich fast kind of scheme. And I mean, I get it. Some people became successful, not everyone, but if you wanted to, you could. But to your question, if it was too much, it was a difficult year. We learned a lot. We also scaled our processes a lot. And so, for example, on the forum, we were overrun with questions. We built a system there that rewarded people who were actively answering and would pay them out at the end of the month. We ended up hiring one of these people who were consistently in the top.
Nice.
And he's now one of our community moderators. And so we are quite good at building systems that scale and preparing for further scale as well. But you are correct in saying that it has flattened a bit. I think the entire market is feeling the pressure of AI tools. And it's on us right now to position ourselves in a way that makes sense, right? You cannot ignore it. And you cannot pretend that you're going to beat AI or you're not going to need AI, but we need to find the perfect spots to position ourselves.
No, definitely. And again, when I say undeserved, it's not about the tool. It's about more the hype that sometimes people, like now, I would say all those people that when I say wrong, it's not a judgment, but like now they are good doing OpenClaw, then they shift to Hermes, like all those people who are like the kind of the shiny object syndrome.
The latest thing.
And this, I think it's okay if this flattens a bit and then it gives you time, because I think automation, like the way N8N is doing it, is nowhere to it's going this is what we need, and when people are going to come back and realize that OpenClaw is not efficient, they will come back, I think, also to this, I would say, traditional.
And we also see people building OpenClaw alternatives in N8N, which is really interesting. So it's full circle. Exactly. They realize OpenClaw is really cool, but I'm not really sure what's going on. But if I build it in N8N, I can actually see what it's doing. So, it's cool, and it's amazing. Like you showed a map of all the communities around the world, all the ambassadors. You even mentioned you went to Cairo. That's quite fascinating. As a community manager, it's an amazing team to work with. We have full support from the entire company and from the leadership. We have a lot of resources. We get a lot of agency, so we can make our own decisions. I want to go to Cairo, support the community there. Of course we do it, and everyone understands why. I don't even need to make a business case for it because it's obvious. And that's the great thing. The company understands why you want to do it.
That's amazing. And I guess last year was probably tough, but all this also brought you now to a more comfortable place. More
well, we're still inflicting pain on ourselves. So in my team, we have this map you mentioned of the communities. It's our international ambassadors that we have around the world. Right now we have 175. 6 months ago we had 35, and so we're basically doubling in size every quarter. And we keep doing that for the rest of the year. And our goal is to reach 1,000 local communities around the world.
Okay, wow.
And we know every quarter that next quarter is going to hurt. And we'd better figure it out before the quarter starts. So we're building tools and better processes to preempt these problems before they arrive.
Well, that's amazing. As you said, really you want to scale. And build the tools, and I guess that's what automation allows also. So.
Yeah, you could say we have an unfair advantage. We are really good at automating stuff. It's
cool.
And obviously internally we automate everything that we can, right? So
you still have time, even yourself, to play with the play with N8N.
Actually, right now, as we're speaking, we have what's called the Hundefutterzeit, which is German for dog fooding time. And it's the one time a month where the entire company is supposed to take one afternoon and build automations for problems that they're facing or things that they can make more efficient. And that does two things. it lets us work with the tool and like give feedback on improvements, and also it just improves the overall efficiency of the company at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's rare that dog fooding, like, so a lot of startups I think try to do that. Like we see it on the concept of the startup, like the way to run a startup. But as you said, like it's not always like some people do random products and that don't like your product. Like really helps
we
the
are
company.
Actually supposed to build workflows that solve a real problem for us.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for all this.
Of course,
it was
Alex,
super interesting. Thanks again for supporting the No Code Week also.
Pleasure.
And hopefully, so there is a hackathon tomorrow. I'm looking forward to see what people are going to build. And hopefully we'll see you next year also.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
This was great. Thanks.